power, you never outshine the master. You see what I'm saying? Like, I even had a conversation and said it to Drake.
But I wouldn't be shocked if this man right here went to serve Drake. And this man being Machine Range CEO.
Diedrich Devon Williams, who's behind bars for life for murdering rapper XXXTentacion, is now appealing his case, his conviction, his sentence, on the grounds that he did not receive a fair trial. And this is in part due to what his attorneys say is the exclusion of evidence that pointed the finger, or maybe pointed the finger, at other people. And one of those people whose name has come up is rapper Drake.
50 Cent has officially entered the music industry war against Drake, just months after publicly backing him in his beef with Kendrick Lamar. If you remember, last summer 50 was all about showing Drake love. He even linked up with him in Toronto. But fast forward to now, and it's a whole new storyline. 50 has flipped the script completely and is out here trolling Drake like it's his 9-to-5 job. And apparently, it's all tied to Drake's ongoing lawsuit against Universal Music Group. For those out of the loop, Drake recently filed a legal case against UMG, accusing them of using bots and payola to boost Kendrick's diss track, Not Like Us. But UMG isn't just brushing it off. Allegedly, they're gearing up to clap back hard, and by hard, we mean exposing the skeletons-level drama. Word is, Drake's label bosses have been sitting on a vault of dirt about him in the entire OVO camp. And let's not forget, Kendrick pretty much warned us this was coming. Remember when he said, "The embassy about to get raid too?" Yeah, fans think that was a warning shot at OVO and what's been brewing behind the scenes. Now that Drake's biting the hand that fed him, insiders say UMG might hit him with the full Diddy treatment, as in full-scale industry takedown mode. And if there's one person who lives for this kind of chaos, it's 50 Cent. He's already throwing shade at Drake like it's a personal sport. So, let's break it all down. So just to give you some context, back in July, right when things were heating up between Drake and Kendrick, 50 Cent jumped into the mix. He posted a photo of himself hanging out with Drake in Toronto and captioned it, "Brainstorming last night. Me and Champagne Poppy about to get the cameras rolling. Biggest thing on your TV." There was also a video floating around online showing 50 and Drake laughing and drinking together like old friends. Naturally, 50 teaming up with Drake while he was beefing with Kendrick didn't sit right with a lot of people, especially folks on the West Coast. They saw it as a straight-up betrayal, considering 50 owes much of his early success to Dr. Dre. Then things got even messier when Drake doubled down on the disrespect, this time involving Tupac. While still hanging with 50 in Toronto, Drake posted a photo of himself posing in front of a black BMW, eerily similar to the one Tupac was shot in back in '96. Fans immediately started speculating that Drake was sending a subliminal shot at Kendrick with that post. No, Drake didn't actually buy the car Tupac was killed in, but people still felt like the photo was shady and disrespectful. What made it worse? 50 Cent was right there with him when he posted it. And even though 50 is originally from the East Coast, his ties to the West Coast, especially through Dr. Dre, run deep. So him standing next to Drake during all that was awkward. But here's the twist. 50's now done a full 180, and he's trolling Drake hard. He recently dropped some behind-the-scenes footage from a trip with the G-Unit crew, including Tony Yayo. In one scene on a private jet, 50 asks Yayo what he's listening to. Yayo casually replies, "Kendrick's new album, GNX." And 50, he doesn't miss a beat. He jokes that Yayo gets a pass for that, throwing slick shade at Drake in the process. Now, a lot of people are saying the reason 50 Cent suddenly flipped on Drake is because of those legal petitions Drake filed against UMG and Spotify. In the filing, Drake basically accused UMG and Spotify of conspiring together and manipulating streaming numbers to artificially boost the success of Kendrick's diss track, Not Like Us. And let's be honest, running to the courts over a diss track doesn't exactly scream hip-hop energy. Apparently, that move made 50 rethink his support. Because for someone like 50, who built his brand on raw, street-level beef and lyrical warfare, suing your label over streaming stats just looks weak. But it's not just 50. The entire industry seems to be turning on Drake right now. People are dragging him hard, saying the fact that he's filing lawsuits because he lost a rap battle just proves Kendrick was right when he called him a colonizer.
Yeah, it's a long flight. Maybe something for That's because you know they get it back. Listen to yeah, that's Drake. Yeah, that's Drake. You got it.
What the niggas from G-Unit didn't get nothing? I gave him stuff.
He already got what he got for bringing me. So how did you give me something?
The whole industry is now piling on Drake and calling him a Karen. But honestly, that's the least of his problems. Because Drake's legal action against UMG might have way bigger consequences than just some online trolling. See, UMG has had Drake's back for years. They allegedly helped cover up some pretty disturbing allegations against him back in 2021. Not only that, they gave him a deal reportedly worth $500 million, a number that was basically unheard of in hip-hop at the time. And let's not forget, UMG CEO Lucian Grange even said it himself. Drake could get any amount of money he asked for.
The person who has the real defamation case in this situation is Kendrick's woman. Because Drake not only said Kendrick was beating on her, he said that Dave Free, Kendrick's business partner and friend, was the real father to one of Kendrick's kids. So if you're gonna accuse somebody of defamation, you must first make sure you too aren't guilty of defamation, okay? Drake saying that Kendrick defamed him is indeed the pot calling the kettle beige, but that's not even why I'm giving him donkey of the day. Okay, I'm giving him donkey of the day because Drake is proving without a shadow of a doubt that he simply doesn't understand culture.
But here's where things start to get messy. Remember that lawsuit producer Lil Rod filed against Diddy back in February? Well, that same lawsuit originally named Lucian Grange and Universal Music Group, UMG, as co-defendants. Lil Rod claimed that Lucian actually financed and enabled Diddy's alleged criminal activities. In the lawsuit, it stated, Mr. Jones recalls seeing defendant Grange visiting Mr. Combs' home in both Miami, Florida and Los Angeles, California. According to Mr. Jones, when defendant Grange visited Mr. Combs at his home, it would be in the evening, and he and Mr. Combs would disappear for hours into Mr. Combs' bedroom. Lil Rod also accused Lucian of aiding, abetting, and bankrolling Diddy's entire operation, saying he was one of the conspirators who provided vast sums of cash that made the whole thing possible. But get this, by May 2024, news broke that Lucian Grange and UMG were quietly removed from the lawsuit. And honestly, that was expected. Lucian isn't just some exec. He's the most powerful man in the music industry. Of course, his legal team was going to make sure his name got scrubbed clean. Just when Lucian and UMG thought they'd dodged the bullet with the Diddy scandal, Kendrick and Drake's beef blew up, and Kendrick started hinting that he was willing to air out even more of the industry's dirty laundry. You already know UMG was paying attention. The last thing Lucian Grange wanted was to get dragged into another firestorm, this time involving Drake and OVO, right after narrowly escaping Diddy's mess. But Drake didn't get the memo. Instead of backing off, he filed legal petitions accusing UMG of using bots and payola to inflate Kendrick's streaming numbers. And now people are saying Drake's playing with fire and might end up getting the Diddy treatment. Here's the thing. UMG had already warned Drake way before he filed those petitions. Back in August, when he dropped 100 gigs of content including unreleased tracks, UMG hit him with a copyright strike immediately, yanking multiple songs from his official site. Drake posted the takedown notice on social media, trying to call them out. But instead of reading the room, he doubled down, and now he's knee-deep in drama with the label that once protected him. Fans are already theorizing that UMG might retaliate by leaking the same OVO skeletons they've been sitting on for years. Remember Kendrick's line on Meet the Grams? He called out weird behavior in the industry, saying some artists use their homes to streamline victims, leak videos, and push hidden agendas. He even predicted that Drake's mansion would get raided just like Diddy's. Then Kendrick doubled down on Not Like Us, directly calling OVO a certified P-file. As for Drake's response, on The Heart Part 6, he tried to deflect, claiming he's too famous to be a pedophile, because if that were true, he'd already be in jail. But let's be real, that's not a strong defense. We've seen plenty of rich, famous predators skate past justice for years. And what made it weirder? Drake randomly name-dropped Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown on the same track. You probably already know the rumors, how Millie was just 13 when she first met Drake, and how their friendship raised a ton of red flags.
Scheming, Drake says, tell Lucy and I said, I'm tearing holes in my budget. Tell Lucy and I said, I'm tearing holes in my budget. Did Drake call you up after that and say, hey, I need more money for my project?
If ever Drake or whenever Drake was
But see, here's the weird part. Kendrick never mentioned Millie Bobby Brown in any of his diss tracks. He didn't allude to her. He didn't even hint at the rumors. So the fact that Drake brought her up in his response, that's suspicious. It was almost like a guilty conscience response to something no one directly said. And speaking of strange, let's talk about the mentorship. Drake claimed he wanted to mentor Millie and even offered her dating advice. But somehow, he wasn't interested in mentoring the boys from Stranger Things. Why? Drake started as a child actor. If he were really trying to help young performers navigate fame, wouldn't it make more sense to mentor someone like Finn Wolfhard or Caleb McLaughlin? But nope, his focus was locked on Millie. And the question becomes, why would a grown man want that type of relationship with a girl he's not related to? Now, Drake stayed silent about his friendship with Millie for years. Then, on his 2023 album For All the Dogs, he finally addressed the backlash. But instead of explaining anything, he flipped the script, calling fans weirdos for even bringing it up. Classic gaslight move: deflect, mock, repeat. And here's the thing, it's not just Millie. There are a lot of rumors floating around about Drake allegedly making moves on young women in the industry. Let's go back to 2013. Kylie Jenner had just turned 16. Drake was 27. He performed at her birthday party, and there's even a photo of him kissing her on the cheek. Yeah, not a great look, especially in light of Kendrick's allegations. And then there's the infamous concert clip, where Drake pulls a young fan on stage, gets a little too touchy, then finds out her age, and keeps going. Not just going, he makes inappropriate comments about her body after learning she was underage. So when people say the vibes are off, they're not pulling that out of thin air. They're pulling it from Drake's own behavior.
Fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. You know, we just texted each other the other day and he's like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely gonna go and see him. I'm so excited, yeah.
You and Drake, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys, he helps me. Yeah, he's great. He's wonderful, I love him. You know, that stays in the text messages.
Now, fast forward to 2018, and Vice dropped some serious tea. 31-year-old Drake was allegedly dating model Bella Harris, who was just 18 at the time. Sure, that's technically legal, but the age gap had people looking at Drake sideways. Then it got worse. Reports surfaced that Drake first met Bella during his Summer 16 tour with Future. Translation? Bella would have been 16 when Drake was 29. So yeah, not great optics. And it doesn't stop there. In 2019, Billie Eilish, who was 17 at the time, told Vanity Fair that Drake, then 33, was texting her regularly. Once again, older Drake texting another underage girl. At this point, it's not giving mentor, it's giving pattern. In fact, some fans are starting to draw comparisons between Drake's behavior with young women and Diddy's infamous relationships with young men under the guise of mentorship. You remember the old clips? Diddy with Usher, Diddy with Justin Bieber, all giving that same, what are we even watching energy. Now, with Kendrick accusing Drake and Ovo of being involved in P-filed behavior, fans are saying, maybe it's time Drake faced the same kind of scrutiny Diddy did. And just when you thought this story couldn't twist any harder, Kanye West enters the chat. During his interview on the Download podcast, Ye suggested that everything Drake does has to be blessed by his rich baby daddy, Lucian Grange. Yes, the Universal Music Group CEO. Yes, the same man who allegedly bankrolled Diddy. And now, allegedly calling the shots for Drake. It's starting to sound less like a rap beef and more like a Netflix docuseries in the making. But wait, it gets even crazier. Just when you thought this couldn't turn into more of a conspiracy thriller meets hip-hop meltdown, an old blind item from 2018 has resurfaced online, and it's sending the internet into full paranoia mode. This blind item accused Diddy and Drake of being the alleged gatekeepers behind two secret industry rings, one allegedly targeting young male talent, the other focused on young women. Here's what it said. There is an interesting dynamic going on in the music world right now. Sick and disgusting, but interesting in how it divides. If you're a follower of this one-named permanent A-list singer, meaning you attend his parties, work with his producers, then you're more into boys below the legal age. This group is allegedly dedicated to finding and developing young male talent. That A-lister was one of them, and he's recruited others. The other group? Led by a foreign-born, one-name A-list singer. They tend to focus on developing female talent below the age. They model themselves after R. Kelly and his relationship with Aaliyah. They even call themselves LMK, after the song Let Me Know featuring R. Kelly and Aaliyah. You'll see it written on their shoes to show their members. Yeah, that's not a movie plot. That's a blind item. The A-lister behind the male-focused group? Allegedly Diddy, with Usher helping scout young talent. And the foreign-born A-lister leading the female-focused ring? Fans think it's Drake. Now, fast forward to 2025. Lucian Grange somehow managed to wipe his name clean from Lil Rod's lawsuit and ghost his long friendship with Diddy. But then, Drake dragged himself back into the spotlight in the worst way possible. And word is, Lucian's not thrilled. He's furious. According to insiders close to UMG, Drake has no idea the kind of storm he's walked into. UMG isn't just disappointed. They feel betrayed. Let's not forget, UMG is the most powerful label in the world. They gave Drake a $500 million deal, boosted his career to skyscraper status, covered up scandal after scandal, and allegedly, helped his tracks stream harder than physics should allow. And now, Drake turned around and accused them of rigging the charts for Kendrick, as if he wasn't the one benefiting from those same tactics for years. That's not just disloyal, it's RICO-level dumb. Industry sources are saying revenge is already in motion. UMG is ready to strike. Hard. Some even believe Drake could go out like Diddy, empire crumbling, receipts surfacing, and a legacy torched. So what do you think? Did Drake just pick a fight with the wrong empire? Is UMG going to crush him behind the scenes like they allegedly did to others who crossed them? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss what's coming next. Because this is far from over.